There are saints who inspire by their simplicity, others by their martyrdom. But Saint Thomas Aquinas inspires by the breadth of his mind and the depth of his soul, a man whose thoughts reached the heavens, yet whose heart remained rooted in humble, faithful love. Born in 1225 to a noble family in Italy, Thomas was expected to become an abbot, a respectable and powerful role. But from an early age, his heart was captured not by ambition, but by truth. His family, alarmed by his desire to join the Dominican order, a group known for poverty and preaching, went so far as to lock him in a tower, hoping to change his mind. But nothing could move Thomas from his calling. He had already begun to taste a deeper reality, that truth and God are inseparable. For him, theology wasn't dry academia, it was an act of love, of wonder, of worship. Thomas became a Dominican friar, studying under some of the greatest minds of his time. Yet he was often misunderstood, even mocked by his peers. They called him the dumb ox because of his quiet nature, but one of his teachers, Saint Albert the Great, famously said, "You call him a dumb ox, but his bellowing will be heard throughout the world," and indeed, it was. Thomas would go on to write one of the most influential works in all of Christian history, the Summa Theologica, a towering synthesis of philosophy, theology, and scripture. But more than just knowledge, it revealed a man who thought deeply so others could love more clearly. He asked big questions. What is God? What is happiness? What does it mean to be human? And in every answer, he pointed not to himself, but to Christ. Yet, perhaps the most profound moment of his life came not in writing, but in silence. Late in his life, Thomas experienced a mystical vision while celebrating Mass. What he saw, he never fully explained, but it changed him forever. He stopped writing. When asked why, he replied, "All that I have written seems like straw compared to what I have seen." Imagine that. The greatest theological mind of his age, suddenly overwhelmed not by reason, but by mystery. In that moment, we glimpse the secret of Saint Thomas Aquinas, that behind his intellect was a soul in love. He wasn't trying to master God, he was trying to be mastered by him. Thomas died at the young age of 49. He left behind not only books and ideas, but a legacy of devotion. His writing shaped the Church for centuries, but his humility shaped hearts. He teaches us that faith and reason, not enemies, but companions. That the life of the mind, when united with the life of prayer, leads not to pride, but to adoration. And perhaps his most famous hymn, written for the feast of Corpus Christi, says it best: "Sight, touch, and taste in thee are each deceived. The ear alone most safely is believed. I believe all the Son of God has spoken, than truth's own word, there is no truer token." Saint Thomas Aquinas reminds us, the goal of study is not to know more, but to love more. The goal of theology is not mastery, but mystery. And the end of every question is a person who is truth itself, a person who is love. Saint Thomas Aquinas, pray for us.